Long before temples and formal texts, our ancestors understood the profound connection between humanity and the unseen world. They carved spirals into cave walls and ritually buried their dead, using the earth as their first sacred text. Across cultures and centuries, this connection was nurtured. In ancient Greece, the Oracle of Delphi spoke the will of Apollo, her words a form of divine magic. In other stories, like that of the woman from Endor in the Book of Kings, we find figures of power and mystery, women who walked in the quiet margins of history. And at the crossroads stood Hecate, a torchbearer and guide, a keeper of keys and a master of both shadow and light. But with this power came fear. The year 1487 saw ink become a weapon with the publishing of the Malleus Maleficarum, a witch hunter's guide that condemned both women and the wisdom they held. Fear led to tragedy, like the harrowing story of the 10 souls hanged at Pendle, whose whispers are said to ride the wind even now. Yet the craft was never truly silenced. It was revitalized by figures like Gerald Gardner, whose work laid the foundation for modern Wicca, a path that honored ancient gods and rituals in a new way. In the transformative era of the Summer of Love, witchcraft blossomed in gardens, bookshops, and hearts, becoming wildly eclectic and vibrantly alive. The journey continued into the digital age, where witches found community in online forums and schools, sharing spells across pixels and prose. Today, a new generation of witches dances between ancient roots and modern rhythm. We are blending hand-blended oils and casting spells with hashtags, honoring the legacy of those who came before us, while forging new paths for those who will follow. The magic is still here, woven into the past and waiting to be found in the present. This is Weavings at Midnight, the official podcast of the Midnight Weaver. Welcome to the second episode of Weavings at Midnight, the companion podcast to the Midnight Weaver. It is the midnight hour on October 6, 2025. I am Roisin Reese, the Nightbloom Witch, the founder of the Midnight Weaver. As a perpetual night owl, I weave magic in the dark of night and find solace in the midnight hour. Tonight, I, like many witches across the globe, am preparing a ritual for the hunter's moon, or simply, October's full moon. The air is crisp, the moon is full, and the season is still shifting in that sweet, sleepy way. Tonight, we are stepping into the soft glow of lunar magic and self-care with a little DIY flair. We are still feeling Mabon's energy, gratitude, balance, harvest, and sowin is fast approaching. For now, we lean into the moonlight to cleanse, refresh, and recharge.
The moon is full, the lunar energy is humming beneath my wings, lavender is blooming in bottles, and your skin is about to be softer than your emotional boundaries.
The October full moon is often called the hunter's moon. Traditionally, it followed the harvest moon and signaled a time of preparation. Spiritually, this moon carries the same lessons. The hunter's moon shines a light on release and empowerment. It invites us to let go of what no longer serves us, whether that's old habits, lingering doubts, or emotional weight we've been carrying. Just as the trees shed their leaves, we too are called to release so that new strength can take root. At the same time, this moon offers empowerment. Hunters had to be focused, resilient, and courageous, and these qualities echo in the energy of this full moon. It reminds us that once we release what weighs us down, we create space for clarity, courage, and renewed purpose. This makes the hunter's moon especially powerful for rituals of cleansing, protection, and personal empowerment. It is a perfect time to continue your reflections on what you are ready to release and what strength you want to step into as we move deeper into the dark half of the year. The hunter's moon teaches us that release and empowerment often go hand in hand. One of the most powerful ways we can practice this is through self-care, not just the surface kind, but the intentional, magical kind that nourishes body, mind, and spirit. For me, self-care is not only about lighting a candle or slipping into a bubble bath. It is about creating affirmations, recipes, spells, and rituals, even in how I care for my skin and hair. I like to create most of my own hygiene products, especially for my skin and hair. But for me, these are not just recipes, they are something more. Each blend is designed with care, not only to support my physical health, but also to tend to my mental and emotional well-being. And I will admit, every now and then I craft something just to enhance those rare little moments of vanity. Because self-care, after all, can be both practical and magical. The first bit of DIY magic I want to share with you tonight is my lavender face cleanser. You will need the following supplies: 1/4 cup of liquid Castile soap, 1/2 cup of distilled water, 1 tablespoon sweet almond oil, 6 to 8 drops lavender essential oil. Mix all ingredients in a small bottle, shake gently before each use and apply to damp skin. Massage into your face with care. I use reusable cotton cloths. One side is smooth, while the other side is a little rough for exfoliation. Rinse with warm water. You can say something simple like, "With this cleansing, I release what no longer serves me," a blessing or an affirmation.
Well, I see someone forgot the obvious. Lavender is not just for making your face smell like a sleepy garden. It is a moon herb tied to purification, calm, and dream work. In aromatherapy, it is used for calming stress, easing headaches, and even helping with sleep. Perfect for release under a full moon. But no, let us not mention that. Let us just wash our faces and move on. Now, before you give us the next recipe, you can handle the empowerment correspondences. I will let you redeem yourself before your next recipe, and try not to get bubbles up your nose and your eyes while you are at it.
Thank you, Sire, for your thorough correction. Sire is right, lavender has powerful lunar ties, and that makes it a perfect ally for release. But it is also an herb of empowerment. When we work with lavender intentionally, we are not just soothing our nerves or calming our skin. We are creating space for strength to rise up. Empowerment is not always about fire and thunder. Sometimes it is about the quiet courage to care for ourselves, to heal, to protect our own energy. Lavender embodies that balance, gentle yet strong, calming yet protective. That is why I love weaving it into self-care. It becomes a ritual of both release and empowerment. Each time we use it, we are telling our subconscious, "I let go of what no longer serves me, and I call back my strength." And with that balance of release and empowerment in mind, I like to keep lavender close in more than one way. The cleanser helps me begin with a clear foundation, but I also carry its energy with me throughout the day. That is where my second recipe comes in, something light, refreshing, and simple to use whenever you need a little reset. My lavender facial mist. Before I delve into the recipe, let us explore some of the history of lavender. The word lavender comes from the Latin word lavia, which means to wash, which is a perfect name because this herb has been used for cleansing and purification for thousands of years. Let us take a quick trip back in time. The ancient Egyptians used lavender's scent for protection and even in the process of mummification. But it was the Romans who truly fell in love with it. They added lavender to their famous bathhouses to purify their bodies and minds. And as their empire grew, they carried lavender with them, spreading this beautiful herb all across Europe. By the Middle Ages, lavender was a household name, used in medicine to treat everything from headaches to, believe it or not, warding off the plague. Now for the lavender face mist recipe. You will need the following supplies: 1/2 cup of distilled water, 1 tablespoon of witch hazel, 6 to 8 drops of lavender essential oil, 1 teaspoon of vegetable glycerin. In a spray bottle, combine water and witch hazel. Add the essential oil and glycerin. Shake well but gently. Use it as a bedtime mist for calm dreams or a morning refresher to awaken gentle clarity. Charge the bottle under the full moon. Add a small moonstone near it while it rests. Whisper an intention as you mist. I invite calm, clarity, and connection. If you want to take it further, light a white or lavender candle, spritz yourself lightly, and sit with the moon. Journal, breathe, sip at your drink of choice. Let it be a gentle, quiet evening.
And since someone forgot to mention it, yes, you can boost all this with moon water. Do not panic, it is not complicated. Take a clean jar, fill it with fresh water, and stick it under the moonlight overnight. A lid is optional, but bugs are not recommended. The full moon charges it with energy for cleansing, renewal, and all those witchy Pinterest vibes. You can spritz it in your mist, add it to a ritual bath, or even water your plants with it. I would not necessarily recommend drinking it unless you enjoy questionable surprises.
Thank you, Sire, as always, for a very thorough reminder. Moon water really does add another layer to the mist if you want to deepen that connection to the full moon's energy. Now that we have talked about lavender, the hunter's moon, and a few little magical touches, I want to share how you can take all of this and create your very own self-care ritual. The thing about self-care rituals is that they are deeply personal. There is no one way to do them. What matters is setting aside a moment to nurture yourself while weaving in intention and magic. Let us start with the recipes I shared earlier. The lavender cleanser helps you begin with a clear foundation. Visualize stress and heaviness washing away with each rinse. Then, the lavender facial mist becomes a refresh and reset. A few sprays over your face or even around your space, and you invite in calming energy, clarity, and a soft new beginning. Think of it as giving yourself a breath of fresh air, both magically and physically. From there, you can shape the rest of your ritual to fit your needs. Maybe you light a candle, purple for healing, white for peace, or even green for renewal. You might add a crystal, like amethyst or smoky quartz, to hold your intention. Take a moment to ask yourself, what is the focus of this ritual? Is it releasing old energy under the hunter's moon? Is it grounding after a long week? Or is it simply giving yourself permission to rest? Once you know your focus, add a magical action. You might write down something you want to release and place it under your candle, journal about what you are feeling, or even pull a card for guidance. There is no wrong answer here. Choose the act that feels nourishing to you. And when you are ready to close, thank yourself for showing up, thank the moon or any allies you have called on, and then ground yourself with a sip of water or a warm cup of tea. That is all it takes. Simple steps woven with intention that transform ordinary moments into a self-care ritual that is completely yours.
Hold up, Roisin. You gave them all the candle color meanings but left the poor gemstones hanging. Do you not think our listeners deserve to know why you picked amethyst and smoky quartz? Amethyst is all about calm, clarity, and spiritual protection. It is perfect when you want to settle your mind and open up to intuition. Smoky quartz, on the other ring, is grounding and protective. It is excellent for releasing negativity and anchoring yourself, which makes it a strong ally for self-care and moon rituals. Together, they balance out beautifully, like a little cosmic reset button.
Thank you, Sire. I suppose I did get a little candle focus there. But now you can see how both candles and crystals can add layers of meaning to your ritual. The key is picking the ones that speak to you in the moment. And speaking of moments, before we end tonight's episode, Sire has an announcement he insists on making.
I have recently realized something shocking. I am far too important to be stuck with so few roles at the Midnight Weaver. Honestly, I practically run this entire operation. So, effective immediately, I am launching CR's Wisdom and Conversations with CR. Want a weekly witchy tip from yours truly? Text CR's Wisdom to 1-62332-44422 to sign up. I will send you one random magical tip every Monday. It could be brilliant, it could be sarcastic, but rest assured, it will be 100% me. Roisin, be kind enough to add my cell number to the podcast description, on social media, the Moodle page, and in the Many Companion.
A weekly witchy tip, Sire. Exactly how do you expect to type and send a text message? And should that not be a weekly owl tip?
I am going to ignore those questions, human. Stop interrupting and let me finish. Starting in the October 20th podcast episode, I will be commandeering a section of the show for Conversations with CR. Send in your questions immediately to the _midnight_weaver at proton.me with the subject line, CR's Q&A. If your question is good enough, or terrible enough to amuse me, I might just bless you with my boundless feathered wisdom. This also needs to be added to the podcast description, on social media, the Moodle page, and in the mini companion as well, Human.
I am interrupting you. What is it called when you interrupt me? Honestly, sire, I am seriously tempted not to add any of this information you've just demanded.
Do not worry, listeners. I am going to completely ignore her protests. She will add the information, or I will steal the next episode's notes. And trust me, you have no idea the level of chaos and panic that would cause.
Oh, sire, my poor, ignored, infuriating and bossy little owl. In the next episode, we will be discussing Soin, the veil and ancestral connection. Thank you for joining us by the fire tonight. Visit the website for printable recipe cards and the mini companion with extra details. And of course, you can join the cozy chaos in our social media groups or on our Moodle page. We would love to hear your reflections in the forums. All of the links are posted in the episode description.
Do not forget to share pictures of your October full moon altar.
Thank you, sire. Even in the dark you can bloom. Until next time, blessed be.
I will probably fly in next time with even more advice, and hopefully it does not smell like so much lavender again. Until then, keep soaring among the starlit magical mites.